Alrighty, it is time for everyone's favorite I don't know anything moment. When some random content creator decides to do a tier list. The game's been out for one week. No, it's been early access for 1 week. All the top players have been watching a lot of games, trying to start to understand what things can do, what people are thinking about, how you're actually perceiving the game at the moment, and all the good stuff. I've had some good games. I've had some bad games. I've had some imbalanced games. I've had some balanced games. I'm going to start this one off saying I don't actually know right now. But this is where I'm placing people with my current thought process. I'm going to try and go through everything that makes a god strong, everything that makes a god weak, and we're going to start with the S tiers first, because those are clearly sitting in front based on playability, ease of play, and strength. So the top 3 gods right now are going to be Hades, Set, and I'm going to put Odin in A tier straight away, but he might be somewhere. We might want to give ours. Can I give myself another? Can I get another row? Add row above. Okay. We'll just give this S minus because I don't think that Odin can compete with these gods. Okay, so what's making Hades really good right now is 2 things. One, he's got this upgrade called Vaults of Erebus, which I don't think Hades players are abusing correctly just yet. You can get a 4-minute advance time with Vaults of Erebus, which pays itself off by 6 minutes, and then you're just in front by 2 villages without doing anything. So that is a must-grab tech for Hades players. It puts Hades on the top. In most situations, you could also get it a little bit later if you're going for a town center. But if you're going for the one town center play with Minotaur, this technology absolutely stonks. It synergizes with Minotaur because they only cost gold. And then, yeah, Hades is going to have a really, really good time here with this Hades, with this shenanigans, with everything there. Okay, so the question here is, who's on top about Hades and Set? So why is Set good? Set's got Plague of Serpents, which basically gives him freedom to do whatever he wants. It controls one area of the map. So does he want to be aggressive and control a location? Does he want to be defensive and boom and not have to worry about anything? So those are the 2 questions. He's also got that Snakes for Water, which is insanely strong. The counter to Serpents is just don't be where Serpents is, right? Leave the area. Leave the area. Okay? So what else is good with Set? Set's also got Ancestors and Scorpion Men, which are probably the strongest heroic age myth units for Egyptian, and possibly also one of the strongest in the game. They're really, really good. Huge amount of tankiness with them. Wood costing, relatively low favor, have splash damage with their special attack. Super strong, super difficult to deal with. Really, really good for timing attacks and everything else, especially if you want to go for like some Tar. I just talked about how good Serpents are, but Tar is also a decent option with Set to make some timing attacks happen in certain matchups. So yeah, you've got Serpents, you've got Tar, you've got Ancestors. I don't think Sekhmet at the moment is really a pickable minor god. I think that Sekhmet is good. Don't get me wrong. It's just a little bit too slow for Set's playstyle. Now, if the meta starts developing and the aggressive play starts dying back, Set will be able to go Sekhmet for an advantage pushing into the late game. That advantage comes in the shape of Bone Bow and Slings of the Sun. These 2 upgrades are really, really good, especially when you combine them with ballistics. You can get slingers, which kill off infantry and archers, and you can get mass chariots, which actually can kill off cavalry as well. So it's really, really strong. Not mass cavalry, but enough cavalry. They can actually you can have a fun time with mass chariots. Okay. Then not only that, Set has got access to Thoth, which I think a lot of people are agreeing is absolutely busted right now with printing elephants. Now, I think there is a counter to Thoth with certain gods. So the counter to Thoth is Horus, which Set also has. So that's why Set is above Isis in this tier list. Set can go Horus and beat an Isis player who decides they want to go through Thoth. I would say you have to do that reactively though, not proactively. I'll explain it a little bit later when we get to Isis and what your decisions need to be as Isis as well. Anyways, So Set's got both those options. If you're sorry, there's Horus. There's also Bragi, which gives Herdman bonus damage against all cavalry, which is all of those Migdol units. So that Thoth will see some problems against someone who goes Bragi against you. And there's also mass cavalry. So if someone goes Dionysus and gets out Thracian horses and makes Prodromus, those Prodromus, I think Thracian horses affects Prodromus. Anyways, those Prodromus will absolutely carve through you, especially if they mix in Hippias as well to kind of deal with weaker non-Horus spearmen. But that all being said, Set is just really easy to play right now. Even though he is technically one of the harder gods, the way that he's able to be played with the power that he has means he doesn't have to do any of the tricky things. He doesn't have to create animals to eat. He doesn't really have to use his animals in any way other than in his army. So all of this stuff is just, I should say that animals of Set and animals are really just good in the army as well. Like converted animals are too strong. So all of that stuff culminates in Set being at the top. I'm putting these guys equally at S tier. The reason why they're equal here is because on certain maps, Hades cannot defend Set's aggression, and on other maps, Set cannot break Hades' defense. So it comes down to the map as to which one's going to win on land. Set is winning this matchup on water, though. So I'll give a little bit of an edge to Set. I'll give a tiniest of edges to Set here. Tiniest of Set. Tiniest, okay? All right, now, the reason why Odin is down here in S- is because Hades, Mass Minotaur, is beating Odin. Set is beating Odin with whatever he wants to do. Set's got a ridiculous amount of power in the arsenal just to beat up Norse players. His entire purpose in life is to make Norse players cry. That being said, Odin is really simple to play. You can find wins against Hades on really open maps, land maps that is. You can find wins against Set by catching them off guard with Njord timings. If the Set player prepares for Njord with the priests, that doesn't work. You just defend. It's not a problem. So long as the Set player knows that, they shouldn't have any problems. But if you can catch them out in certain situations, maybe you can find a win. There's also a world where just mass units from Norse can overpower a teching Set player. So that may be a thing to keep in the back of your mind. Now the tier list gets hard. Right now, the tier list gets very, very hard. Because I don't really know. And the reason I don't know is because every god has got its own strengths. Every god has got its own weaknesses. So, for example, we've got Gaia. Is Gaia D tier? Is Gaia C tier? Is Gaia B tier? Is Gaia A tier? Well, Gaia is A tier plus on water. Right? Gaia is actually really, really good on water. Gaia actually beats most of the Egyptians on water, or at least goes equal, and it's a skill matchup. Gaia is pretty good against actually, I think Gaia is just good against everyone on water. I don't know. She gets Carnivora. She's got Caladria. Caladria can heal your boats while you're trying to take out an enemy dock with just archers, archer fire. You know how you can garrison fishing ships into a dock, defend that position. You can just garrison there, but the Caladria completely nullifies that with her burst heal, and then the slow heal, like delaying the boats from dying. Plus, you got the Carnivora to take it out, so you can win the water really, really quickly, and then hit a really, really quick heroic age behind it to get the fishing boost with the technology purse scene. And fishing ships are actually even better for Atlantean than they are for the other civs, because they, I believe they're at 0.5 fish, and the villagers are gathering. No, I might be wrong on that. Anyways, don't worry about me. Fish is really good once you get purse scene, so you want to get that nonetheless. It's really strong. Okay, what's next? Whoops, I did not mean to open that. I don't know where. Oh, okay, so the land. We're talking about land now. So Gaia on the land has a lot of problems that she has to overcome. Does she have answers to these problems is the question. So right now we were talking about Zeus and Hades. They've got mass minotaurs to deal with. The answer to mass minotaurs here for Gaia is Stymphalian birds. So you have to get to the heroic age somehow. Now, I'm of the opinion that you can just go 2 town center fast heroic here, but you have to get out some units to make it happen, or you have to go for a villager center, both of which are pretty awkward to go for. So if you can get that 2 town center up, if your opponent lets you, you should be in a good position. If they don't let you, you're going to be crying. Okay, so I don't know. I don't think that Gaia is beating up on the Greeks, but she does have something that the Greek players have to be very scared of. And if she can get there, she's going to be really, really fine. There is maybe a world where just simply fast, like scout. If you see a town center going up for the Greek player, you can drop your own town center. If you see the buildings coming up, you go for a fast heroic. There is a world where that's possible. And then you can get the Stymphalian birds out, and then you can defend against everything because the enemy archer heroes or the enemy heroes of Greek just can't kill your Stymphalian bird Caladria combo, and you should be able to hold anything and then take the game into a good mid game where you can win a sort of scrappy rating mid game with your Contarius. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and say also here that Gaia sucks against Norse. Norse is going to make Gaia's life a living hell. She's got no advantages in this matchup. Plus, she has to deal with Ragnarok. So, yeah, she's sitting in this spot here. I'm gonna go with, and then we also have to deal with. So she's losing to Norse. She's maybe okay against Greek, but probably losing against Greek. Against Egyptian, I think she's okay. I think she's okay against Egyptian. Why is she okay against Egyptian? Because she's got Behemoth. She's also got the answer to Priest Siege, which is a very, very difficult thing for Atlanteans to deal with. But the answer to the Priest Siege is 2 town center fast heroic mass Contarius. So she does have that answer there. So not only does she have the answer to Priest Siege, but she's also got an answer to an Egyptian 2 town center fast mythic in Behemoth to just break through everything. And hit a timing before the Mythic Age comes in. So the Mythic Age is hitting at like 10 minutes, 30, 11 minutes into the game. So you just push in with 2 Behemoth and a whole bunch of units at like 10 minutes, and you can get a gold starve. Sure, that you're going to get one of your bases meteored, but then what? They don't have any gold because you're all over the map with that. So she does have an answer there. Okay, so okay against Egyptian, against Atlantean. I think she's okay against Atlantean, to be honest. But I'm going to go ahead and put a question mark. I think she's okay against Atlantean. I'm going to put her in the B tier. So decent against Egyptian, okay against Greek, bad against Norse, B tier. And okay in the Atlantean matchup. So it's not awful, right? It's playable. Just you have to pick your poison here. Okay, next one is... Let's do Ra, because Ra is another one that people are thinking is not very strong. Where's my Ra? Okay, so Ra has got 3 really strong things that really, really strong features. Fast, hard, classical fight is really good. 2 town center fast heroic, and notice I didn't say fast farms. So no farms, 2 town center fast heroic is really, really strong. And Ra empowered monuments with that Pharaoh is huge amounts of favor to get yourself mummies out. Plus, you're also empowering your base as well to boot. So you're going to be on your monument. You're going to be getting mass monuments. You're going to be getting mass food. And then once you get to the Mythic Age, you make mummies. And mummies are really, really good in a lot of different matchups. Obviously, he's also got plus 15 hit points. The bad side about Ra, no power spikes. So you have to play defensive the whole game. And is terrible on water. Okay? Those are the bad parts about Ra. Now, when I said no power spikes, I sort of lie. Ra classical fight with Sphinx has a power spike at about 10 minutes with Eclipse. And what happens at 10 minutes? Second gold mines. You can kill a town center off with a classical fight with Ra, with Sphinx and an Eclipse. You can get a gold starve and you can punish Norse players. So I don't think here that Ra is necessarily bad against Norse. I don't think that Ra is necessarily bad against Greek. The reason being is 2 town center fast heroic into those plus 15% Migdol units is really, really strong. Plus, you've also got all those myth units you can use to help you out in this game. You've also got behind that behind that Bastard classical fight, you've got a sort of semi-fast mythic that can finish off a Norse player with Horus. So that's really good. Beyond this, in the Egyptian mirror, you've got access to Horus, which counters Thoth, like we talked about before. You've also got access to Osiris, which counters Horus with those mummies. So you've got this really weird dynamic here with Ra that if you play Ra at peak reactivity level and make sure you're picking the right gods and defend correctly, you should be able to have a good game. And for that, I'm putting Ra in the A tier. I think Ra is really, really good. I think Ra might be at the bottom of the A tier though. So what we're going to do is we're just going to put Ra in B for now, and we're going to maybe move him a little bit later if we change our mind. I also think that maybe with a little bit more play, Ra might even be able to beat Hades. And I think maybe that's actually the case. So maybe that does make Ra in the A tier. So when I was saying beating Greek, I was meaning Poseidon and Zeus. But what can Hades do against Ra? Not really a lot. So I'm going to go with A tier. All right, we're going to keep going. Let's go with Uranos, hey? Uranos is challenging because all of his abilities, his unique abilities, are active abilities. So Ra's got plus 15% HP on Migdol units. Set's got plus 5 speed on Barracks units. Hades has got plus 1 range on Toxotes. You don't have to do anything, you just get stronger stuff. Uranos has got to build Sky Passages. Uranos has got to use Shockwave well. Those are his big, big power points. That being said, Sky Passages are really, really good. Why? Because he gets safe hunt gathering throughout the entire game. He can have counter attacks really easily by sneaking Sky Passages across the map. And he also has 0 walking time to his hunt, or just walking time plus the build time of the Sky Passage to get to the next hunt location. So there's lots and lots of advantages here to have with those Sky Passages. He's also got Stymphalian Birds, so he can deal with the Greek madness of making Minotaurs. He's also got Satyr as well as a different angle to take, which is also very, very good. So maybe there's something here for Uranos to use Sky Passages fast stroke in that Greek matchup and make it work. Now, I don't really know if it's any good or not. So maybe Uranos can beat Greek, but I don't think so. Uranos sucks against Norse, but I've heard that Prometheans work in this matchup. I haven't seen it yet, but I've heard that they work. Reason being is what makes Atlantean hard against Norse is throwing Axemen. Throwing Axemen counter those Momilo really, really hard now. And also the speed of cavalry is kind of hard to deal with. But Uranos could go Momilo, couple of Terma, maybe some Catapelti Prometheans. Could also go for Catapelti's Caraballister Prometheans. But yeah, the big problem you're always needing to deal with against Norse is Ragnarok. And that's always coming, and you're always going to die from it unless you're set up with Fanatics, and it's very challenging to get to the Fanatics. So, all that being said, there's a lot to consider here. I don't think that Uranos can deal with Egyptian is the big problem. Is the big problem for Uranos, I think. So not only is Uranos not good against Norse, but Uranos also I don't think can deal with Egyptians because you don't have any pushing power. And what does no pushing power mean? Because no behemoths. You have no behemoths, you have no access to Rhea. No pushing power means Egyptian players can just tech, and if they tech, they get bonkers technologies, which Atlantean's not going to be able to deal with. Bonkers units with myth units, bonkers god powers, all that stuff. So bad against Uranos, bad against Egyptian, bad against Norse, maybe okay against Norse. I think Gaia is above Uranos here. So I'm going to put Uranos in the C tier at the moment. All that being said, Uranos does have Shockwave, and Shockwave might be enough with that Promethean. If it's the case that Uranos starts beating Norse, then I put Uranos above Gaia. But I'm not sure that's the case just yet. Need to see some high-level Uranos players playing high-level Norse players, which I haven't seen yet. Okay? So we're at C tier for that with that Uranus god. Okay, what's next? Let's do Kronos. Let's get all of these Atlanteans out of the way because it really kind of helps. Kronos is amazing on water. I think he's the best Atlantean on water. I think he's one of the best gods on water. What makes Kronos really good is that docs on Retold are coming out later than on the Titans because you need gold for a temple. You need to actually go and mine gold, stop mining wood, get gold for the temple. Happy days. You don't actually get hunting dogs on Titans, for those who didn't know, as the rain is now coming in. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but no docs coming out later means rushes are much, much better. If you were to do a 330 rush on the Titans on Legacy, the docs would probably already be up, and you'd be like, why did I do this? I didn't deny anything. But what Kronos can do is you can advance 330 consistently. He can drop a dock after he clicks up. He can build a handful of archer ships, and he can deconstruct twice by the 4th minute into the game. So he can deconstruct the first dock that gets thrown down, which slows down fishing ship production, slows down that age up, slows down a whole bunch of gather time. He can then deconstruct the second dock, and then he can use his arrow ships to deny that dock from coming back up, lay claim to the water for himself, and then he can go for a heroic age, and then he can start abusing that person, or enjoying that person, I should say, with a really, really strong heroic age. That's where we're at with that one. Where Kronos stops being so good is on land. Same reason for Uranus here. I don't think I would ever want to play Kronos against Norse on land. That being said, you do have 330 advance with Promethean raids. You do have Satyr with the big power spike. That's nice. That's nice. So there is a world where you can potentially do this. I've also heard that Promethean's catapult his Cairo Ballista are decent. You do get refunded some resources if you lose your Cairo Ballista. You've also got Prometheus to Valor said Cairo Ballista. And now I'm realizing that I forgot to say that Leto is a very, very bad minor god. So there's only really one minor god here for Kronos. There's only one minor god for Gaia as well, in my opinion. Leto not very strong, I don't think, at the moment. Needs some help in some way. Not sure what it is. Probably a rework of some sort of technology would go a long way. But Prometheans, Catapultes, Cairo Ballista could be an option to help you in this matchup, give you an advantage, get yourself a gold staff with all this stuff. But yet to see it happen. If it's the case that Prometheus does help Atlantean out in this matchup, then sure. We can put him up in the tier list. He's definitely above Uranus. He's probably above Gaia as well. And the reason why he's above Gaia is because he is better at killing Ra, or better at killing Egyptian than Gaia is at killing Egyptian, because he gets 2 behemoths for free. So if the Egyptian player wants to tech, you're going to be able to break through it really quickly with the double behemoths, plus all the other stuff you're going to be building. So you can't really go for a fast smithing against Kronos. You will die. Deconstruction makes life really challenging. I might even put Kronos up in A tier here because of this. But the problem here with Kronos is he sucks against Greek. So this also brings him back quite a bit. Why does he suck against Greek? Because he has no Oceanus and he's got no Thea. So while he can have some success on water against Greek, on the land, he's going to lose really, really hard. I also think he's losing to Gaia. So, and he's losing to Uranus because Oceanus is so good in this matchup. So, unfortunately, if I was to make a water tier list, he'd be sitting up here in S- tier or even S+ tier. But he has to come down into this B tier, and you can notice a little common trend with all these Atlantean gods being very low here. Now, I'm not sure if they're this weak. I'm not sure if they are or not, but at the moment, this is where they're at. Like I said, if the Atlanteans start beating high-level Norse players, then this tier list changes quite a bit, and it becomes a lot more equal. Yeah, Behemoths are good versus Egyptian because you kill off the priests and you attack. Okay, let's keep going. We've got Isis here. I just think Isis is really strong. I think Isis is really, really strong. I'm going to put Isis up in A tier. The reason why Isis is so good, is because Isis has got prosperity. Isis has got Priest Siege. Isis has got Ancestors Eclipse Timing Push. Isis has got Thoth. Isis has also got Osiris for the matchups where Thoth doesn't work. Isis has got basically everything she could need with all the food in her base. One of the reasons why Isis was so weak in Retold, in Legacy, was because food was so scarce, and you could really punish an Isis player going for 2 town center. In Retold, all you got to do is find some goats with your pharaoh. Oh, sorry, with your priest scouting, which is only 5 gold. Put those goats on your second town center. Build it up with a handful of priests to defend it, and then and then you've got a game on your hands, and you can decide what you want to do. Alternatively, there's a really, really great strategy that I believe Mr. created, which is a 3 monument Scorpion Man, Chariot Archer, Ancestors Eclipse Timing, which can break through pretty much anything if they're not ready for it. But it's just a timing, and you just have to learn how to defend it. So I don't think it's going to be the end of the world, but it's going to be really strong on the ladder for a while until people get it. So I'm going to put her in the A tier. Happy days. If I've missed something with my explanation, do say this. Yeah, Isis might be S- tier. Let's put. I agree here, Mother of Animals. If I missed something in this tier list with an explanation, definitely let me know. All right, let's do some of the Norse gods now. So we already know that Norse is kind of average against Egyptians, though I think that Norse is going to be beating Ra a little bit with Nord. So that's why Odin is a little bit above Ra, and Loki is going to be a little bit above Ra as well. But these guys are kind of behind these Egyptian gods, because these gods have got priests here to defend themselves, prosperity, spirit of Mart, plenty of ways to defend against mass myth units here with Egyptians. So the question really becomes, in the Norse mirror, what happens? So in the Norse mirror, you need Freya. Freya is just so good in the Norse mirror because of Valkyrie is nuts. I'm yet to see a high-level Norse mirror where a Freya versus Forseti. If that's the case, then I think that this tier list can just stay like this, where we put in these guys kind of like sitting in maybe like this actually. The thing is here that Odin and Thor have got Rag. They've got Ragnarok. So they actually just win this Norse mirror more times than not, just if they get to Ragnarok. But Freyr has access to Vidar, which can cause some problems here in the Norse mirror. So I don't know. Anyways, against all the other gods, like we've said, I think that the Minotaur strategy is kind of tough to deal with. I've even heard that Loki is struggling against the Minotaurs. So Forseti, mass Hersa, mass armory upgrades from Thor might be a way to beat through this. And that if that's the case, then Thor can get pushed up a little bit on this tier list. Yeah. But yeah, I think that the Norses are going to be able to beat Poseidon. I don't think that the Norses can really beat Zeus or Hades with the Minotaurs. I think that the Egyptians are this. I think the Norses beat all the Atlanteans, so that's fine. And yeah, that's where we're at. Okay. Next one. Poseidon, Zeus. I think Zeus is... This is where it's weird, right? This is why this tier list is so challenging. Poseidon is the best god in the Greek mirror, in my opinion. He is S+ in the Greek mirror. Why is he S+ in the Greek mirror? Because he's got access to Atlanta. Atlanta shuts down centaurs and allows him to have his stronger centaurs at 5.9 speed. If you get Spirited Charge, it goes up to 6.5 speed. So it absolutely counters any Achilles stuff that Hades is doing. So Poseidon gets the tempo in this matchup. And tempo means everything. Tempo means you get map control, means you can decide when you get the town centers, decide when you go to the next age, play to the map, all the good stuff. And not only that, you can run through your opponent's base very, very easily with these centaur, take no damage, shoot enemy villages. I recommend turning off the autocast on your centaurs and using it manually unless there's a fight happening, in which case you want to be using it automatically. So you can easily just turn that on and off with Alt-Q. when you're selecting them. Very easy to do. And yeah, so Poseidon against Hades, Poseidon against Zeus, very strong. But against everyone else, I don't think he's beating Egyptian right now. Maybe he's beating Ra. So let's put him in front of Ra. I don't even think he's beating Ra. I think he might be behind Ra. I think he might be beating Isis, because Isis doesn't have access to Horus. And what does that mean? No Horus means Max Prodromus are going to be able to beat Isis, which also makes me want to pull Isis down, because now we're getting even more counters for Isis here. But let's just leave Isis at the top. And we'll say maybe Poseidon. See, Poseidon beats this god. Poseidon beats this god. Poseidon probably doesn't beat Set, in all honesty. But Odin is beating Poseidon. Loki is beating Poseidon. I think this is a close matchup between Ra and Poseidon here. I think Freya is beating Poseidon. I think Thor is beating Poseidon. And I think that this Poseidon versus Atlantean is kind of close. So, I don't know. And then we have Zeus here. While Zeus is losing to Poseidon, he's got access to Minotaur. Once he loses these Minotaur, he is going to go down in this tier list, probably to B tier. But because he's got the Minotaur, he is beating this god. He is beating this god. He's 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 beating this god. So I can't put him any lower than A tier here, right? But he's losing to Poseidon. I think he's losing to Set. I think he's losing to Isis. I think he's losing to Hades. Even though he gets Centaur, the problem is that Zeus Centaur are only 5.5 speed, which is the same speed, or 5.5 speed? Yeah, they're 5.5 speed, which is the same speed as Achilles, I think, or roughly the same speed as Achilles. So you're not getting that tempo from Centaur. So you can't go Centaur against Hades. So in the end here, Hades' kit's just better than Zeus's in the mirror, right? But he's beating all these gods. I don't think Zeus is beating Ra. So yeah. Do you see how challenging? Do you see how challenging this tier list is? Because there's so many different matchups that gods are actually good into, and there's other matchups that the gods are bad into. So it's not as clear cut as this god is just the best. Because even this S tier god Hades has got a counter in Poseidon. Even this S tier god Set, does he have a counter? Did I say there's a counter in here? Probably not. I think Set's just beating everything. There is a counter in Hades, I guess, against Set in certain maps where you just can't crack the Hades. So yeah, maybe Set just sits up here all by himself. Okay, let's do this. We're changing it. We're gonna put Set up, because not only that, Set's also good on water, so that has to lean into something. All right, that's the tier list. Let me know what you guys think. How accurate or inaccurate it is, I don't know. They're all kind of guesses. It's only been a week. Lots of things to kind of figure out and learn along the way. If you guys enjoyed it, leave a comment. Do all the other good stuff, and I'll see you in the next one.